Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology, and this is the first eclipse of 2026. So, this is your solar eclipse for February. You know what that means? You see Uranus there, right? So, here it comes, February 17th of 2026. This is a new moon solar eclipse. Eclipse time 6:01 a.m. Central Standard Time. Adjust for your time zone as this is a new moon solar eclipse. It's right there. 28 degrees in Aquarius. 28 degrees in Aquarius. And with eclipses, we always have to make sure we look at the node that it's next to. And for this eclipse, because it's so late in the degrees, 28, the node is in Pisces. It's in a different sign. Now, there's some significant things. Actually, there's a lot of very significant things with this eclipse. So, first off, is that it's a solar eclipse. So, that means it's the new moon energy because it's the sun and the moon together. This means it's a new beginning, right? It's the north node in Pisces, but Venus is there as well. And I mean, they're conjunct at 8 degrees. Okay, so you know me, there's a lot to take a look at, a lot to unpack. And I will also add, before we start getting into the details, that Mars is in Aquarius at this time. And wherever Mars is, that's where we're taking action, right? So Aquarian energy is group energy in general, but it's also tech and technology. It's, they say advancements for humanity. It is a very futuristic type of energy. Okay. We're focused. Yeah, future focused would even be okay to say that. But here we're not just future focused, we're taking actions because our focus is on the future. And this is like this higher mind, divine energy. When we talk Aquarian energy, it incorporates Mercury, but Uranian energy too. And so the Uranian part, Mercury is like the details, it's the bits and pieces and putting all those bits and pieces together and seeing the bigger picture. But with Aquarius, it says, but this is different. This is new. This is unconventional, right? Because if you're inventing something, sure, we think AI, right? AI pops in, but not just that. I think there's more here, especially since Pluto is here in Aquarius, which it is here for a long time, right? But when you just pay attention to things like the degree, Pluto's at the 4 degrees, right? So emotions and feelings of the public and group energy. And Pluto being here at the 4 degrees can trigger tribal energy, people we have history with in the past. Okay. And when we talk about groups and we're looking at Aquarius, we have to wonder, right? Aquarian energy connecting to people or people in groups who are more like-minded in the sense that their ideals towards the future are going to align with mine. And typically, when we think of friends and technology, but of course, streaming and it's Aquarian energy. So we even think space. We think of the frontiers that we may not have, encountered. Aquarian energy is thought of as things that you haven't thought of, like the unthinkable. Not unthinkable as in holy crap bad, but unthinkable as in, my mind just couldn't grasp that. So my mind would doesn't even go there to think of that or to think that way. That's the whole job of Aquarian energy, to push us into a new uncomfortable territory. Like that's what it does. And it's fixed thinking. It's fixed air, fixed thoughts, like fixed communication styles. And so we talk about this energy in terms of rewiring, right? But firing first and then rewiring the way our brain works. So we're open to considering something different, new, and unconventional. That's the beauty of Aquarius energy. the 28 degrees for the eclipse itself, well, that's also the moon energy. It's also the public. And so somehow, some way, the past is linked up with this, and it is at a feminine degree. But it's also, when we think Aquarian energy, there is this a detachment, the ability to be a little bit more on the scientific bent even, right? Because it says I I'm connecting at a higher level. When Aquarian energy comes through, we get these great ideas. How do you invent things, right? It's kind of like really not your idea. It comes from up there type of thing. And so connections with the public, connections with the past, but something with the future, and bringing forth and taking action because of Mars here. The node at 8 degrees is also about the past. It's talking about trauma and tragic stuff and desires. Oh my God, desires are a big deal. Shared values because of Venus here, right? My values, our values. It's a mixture of Venus and Mars energy, a mixture of Venus, Mars, and Pluto energy. Right. So deep changes are here because the node at 8 degrees says change. Hopefully can bring a healing, but change. And the nodes haven't been here that long. It's at 8:56. They go backwards. And it can be, people who are abusing their power, abusing their position, abusing positions of authority even, because we think politicians and government figures, institutional energy, and, all that good stuff that we're not going to bother diving deep into. But we're hoping for the future here. This is very, very futuristic energy because it's the North Node. Like these actions that we're taking, these decisions that we're making are because we're focused on the future. Aquarius energy can bring about fast, swift, kind of lightning bolt changes. So, with your money, your values, and your desires in the North Node here, and Venus having another conversation with the North Node, this is a very intense conversation. This isn't lighthearted. And so, how we're moving forward has a very intense sort of energy around it. It's energetic bonds, even blood bonds, possibly, can be financial bonds, even, right? Because we think of insurance money and we think of inheritances at that degrees. And so the winds of change are upon us. It's evolution, right? We evolve with this energy. It's like an upgrade, it's a process. And so change and the public being involved in something that could involve feminine energy and nurturing and home and family and tribal energy, but the past big time is all part of this. Okay. And even now, when you're watching this video in the month of December, maybe the end of November, I'm not sure when I'll get this to you. It's a possibility that you're seeing these changes. You're considering something that's different and new and unconventional, maybe even meeting people that are different, new, and unconventional because of this being friend energy. This is social causes, this is social systems. It's the humanitarian, it's altruistic energy. So we want what's good for all involved. The Neptune and the Saturn at the world axis point, 0 degrees of Aries. It is a world initiation point, the world access point. This is a reset, right? We'd been here before. We were here a year ago, but it was like a false start. Okay, it's what I was calling it anyway, a false start. Now, these are changes that are going to be permanent. Okay, so it's a new beginning. It's a new beginning, and I'll just say it, very likely a new beginning in any leader, anybody who had power, whether they're, yeah, leaders of countries, whatever, who were abused their power because it's a Saturn and Neptune together. It's this big conjunction here, and Hercules is present as well. So spirituality and a spiritual focus, leadership, meaning what's best for all involved, regardless of your religious affiliation. Like we're thinking unity here, right? We're thinking unity, and we're thinking regardless if you're left or right, red or blue, this plan is for you, type of thing. That is new global beginnings. And it may feel unsettling. Sure, absolutely. I think the unsettling energy in general, because the moon keeps coming up, the moon is by Pluto by degree, the moon is at this eclipse by degree. Our deep emotions from the past are with the Scorpio stuff, with the Venus and the North Node. I think this is some sort of a healing, but it has to come about through it's it's on a very personal level, but also on a collective level. Okay. And and there can also be, because there's this world initiation point activation and a change that will be like a forever change. There can be little conversations, communications, and networking that goes on where people are talking about things that are not necessarily earth based. So whether that's people talking about visiting other planets, whether it's um you know getting communication from other planets, whether it's NASA saying, hey, we all of a sudden there's something bleeping here, or whether people are talking about their own like alien experiences, because it's strong Aquarian energy gets activated. This opens up other parts of our mind. So whether these things truly occur, or whether people perception of these things occurring, however you want to look at it, right? However you want to look at it, whatever words you want to apply, this is an energy that is saying different is on the menu. The more open we are to different, the more open we are to the growth of that, of being open to the change and going with it, um, the easier the forwardness will happen, the easier the new momentum in the future will occur. And at the same time, remember the word fast, right? If we thought 2025 was fast, 2026 promises to be moving at an even faster pace. So the last little tidbit I want to throw in here is is not Pandora, is Fortuna. I've been kind of watching her for the last 6, 7, 8 months. And here she is at 27 degrees. Now, for those of you who listen to my videos, you know why this is important. You know why I've been watching her, right? And I will link the other chart. I'll add it here at the end and you can get the picture. But she promises the Fortuna's promise, and the meaning is she brings about a change in fortunes. The fortunes swing high and low, and she promises the tides have now kind of run out. We're not riding high anymore. The water has dried up, type of thing, and so you're kind of just sitting stuck in the sand or whatever. And this 27 degrees Virgo is important with that. So I'll attach the chart, and basically we're staying tuned to find out what else it's going to bring about. But remember, disruptions, shocks, and surprises is on the menu. Oh yeah, authority figures for sure. We're gonna we're gonna set the orb for 26, maybe even 25 and 24, because we have some Arabic lots here. We have two of them actually at 25, part of victory and part of success. So if you have something around 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and even 0 degrees of Pisces, then this will be a big deal in your life.